Have y'all ever been in a situation where, like, let's say you and a friend come up okay, let me give you, okay, thank you, Holy Spirit, a better metaphor, a better analogy. Have y'all ever been in a situation where maybe you and a friend were in the spotlight and you started receiving more attention than the friend, and they start getting upset and like, okay, that's enough. Don't give her no more attention. Don't give him no more attention. But like, y'all both had the spotlight, and yet the crowd started gravitating to you. And I'm just using this as an example. I'm gonna give you another example. Like, let's say you and your friend go to the casino, and y'all both get there. Y'all got $50. I don't know. I don't really, you know what I'm saying, gamble. And so you go to the casino, both of y'all got $50. You start winning, and your friend start getting mad, and she's ready to go because you start winning, and she like, basically that's enough. You won enough. We need to go. Because she's not winning. Like, that's just another metaphor, another analogy of like how that shit work. Or like, y'all come up on the game, you know what I'm saying, on the plot, on the plan, on the scheme, or whatever, or you know what I'm saying, whatever, right? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Whatever the play is. Y'all run a play, and in said play, you start getting more. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you receive more. Now they're mad at you, and they're like, they just want to shut everything down because you got more than them, or they see that you're getting more than them, and they want to just, like I said, shut down shop because there's just no way you're going to get more than them. Have y'all ever had shit like that happen to y'all before? So why am I even mentioning this? I was just reading from 1 Timothy or 1 Timothy. What is this? 4, 5. Okay, 1 Timothy 5. 1 Timothy 1:5. Okay, chapter 1, verse 5. It says, "Now the end of the commandment is charity out of a pure heart and of a good conscience and of faith unfeigned." And this makes me think about the conversation me and God have had about being cheerful givers and also cheerful receivers. So it's like, I have this mindset now. I've grown this mindset, or, you know, like, this is where I'm right now, where you're learning about charity versus reckless giving. Stay with me. So let's start with just charity. To me personally, if you do not have that thing to give, you call yourself doing or giving charity, in your heart and your spirit, you're not necessarily cheerfully giving because you don't really have that thing to give. Or perhaps you're only giving to say you gave, but you really didn't want to give that thing. So in your heart, you really want it back. And I don't know if this is really the appropriate term, but where, you know what I'm saying, coming up, it was called Indian giving. So stay with me. So, you know, there's cheerful giving versus Indian giving. So I'm going to give you like real time, like a real life experience where I can look back and say I was an Indian giver, and it was because I didn't have it to give at that time. So you already know, I used to do Herbalife or whatever. And whenever I moved to LA, there was a whole situation where I really didn't know where I was going to stay whenever I got back to LA, and I had went to go visit family while, you know what I'm saying, on a break, on a holiday break or whatever, right? And so while I was away visiting family, I was really trying to figure out, like, okay, well, whenever I make it back to LA, I don't know where I'm going to sleep. I don't know where I'm going to go. I don't know, you know what I'm saying, what things are going to look like. I need to know what I need to know where I'm going to lay my head, you know what I'm saying, where I'm going to be staying. So in my mind, in my heart at that time, I was homeless. Just call it that. Just call it a spade. I was homeless. And so I had all these products or whatever, my Herbalife products, which technically was inventory. And one thing we would do is like sample parties, or just like I would sample things out, because I wasn't really in a space for me to do sample parties, but I would sample things out. So I would make these little like tea kits or whatever, and I would sample them out. Well, the whole purpose of you sampling those kits out is for potential buyers. So though it's inventory, though I give them out as samples, it's not necessarily something that I'm just say giving away for free. Although I am giving it away for free, the intention is that this person purchases, or that we build a relationship to where this person will become a client. Well, while I'm visiting family or whatever, one of my family members was like, well, if you're gonna be just giving it away, you might as well give it to me. You know what I'm saying? And in the moment, this is when I had no boundaries and I was a big people pleaser. In the moment, I'm like, okay, well, yeah, you know, sure. But in my heart of hearts, I didn't have that to give, because I'm finna go back to LA and I don't even know if I'm gonna have a place to stay. I gotta figure this shit out. This may be all I have left to build on top of, or at least to be able to sell for me to find a place to stay. I really don't have it to give. But I said, yeah. Now, before I left, because there was just so much. Oh my God, it was just so much. There was just so much. Before I left to make it back to LA, which might I add, I did find a place to stay, but I still didn't necessarily have all the cash flow for me to be able to secure the place, though I was on faith, operating in faith and knowing that God was going to provide. I was still holding on to everything that I did have, because I'm like, this is how I'm going to be able to pay this rent where I'm going. So anyways, I ended up texting my family member before I left that morning, because it was super early in the morning when I left. I was driving. So I was like, hey, you know, I'm going to have to take this back. I'll leave this, but I have to take this back because this may be my only inventory. Mind you, the other inventory that I did have in LA, I wasn't able to access anymore because the person that I was staying with or whatever, didn't want me to get my stuff. So all that inventory was gone and this was all that I had, right? So I'm like, hey, you know, I got to take this with me because this may be my only, you know what I'm saying, money, you know what I'm saying, in terms of business. And in that moment, I felt so bad. I felt so guilty, and I felt like an Indian giver. And it was because I did not have it to give, right? So the difference again with being a cheerful giver to me is obviously heart posture. If in my heart, I really don't have that thing to give, or if in my heart, I'm somehow hoping to receive something back from you because I gave, then to me, that's not charity. That's not even being a cheerful giver. That's giving with ulterior motives. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, I'm really only giving because I want you to give me something back. So is it really charity? No, it sounds more like a transactional relationship. And we talked about this before plenty of times. So I say that because I've also had situations where I say, like, you know, me and a friend, we may run the play or whatever. And in doing said play, somehow or another, I'm put in a position to make a little bit more money, or make a little bit more, or, you know what I'm saying, receive a little bit more, or whatever the case may be. And this person is like, no, you know what I'm saying, no, that ain't the way that me and you know, we don't roll like that. And, you know, or I scratch your back, you scratch mine. We talked about quid pro quo. So she was willing to stop my flow, although she was in a better predicament than me. Like, I really needed the money. And so though that person felt like, well, I put you on the play or whatever, even while she may have put me on the play, she wanted to stop the flow, though that flow wasn't even coming from her. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was the plug, don't get me wrong, but I'm saying, like, the extra money wouldn't have necessarily been, it wasn't coming from her. It was going to be coming from other people that were willing to invest or willing to, you know what I'm saying, further. But it was like, no, you're getting too much now, like that. And it was at that point that I realized, like, even then, that though that person was like, yeah, I'm here to help you, I'm here to support you, I'm here to, you know what I'm saying, say charity, give you cheerfully, because I know you're in a space of need, you can only get so much. It wasn't coming from a place of cheerful giving, because the moment she felt like I was getting too much, she wanted to take it back. I was just asking, have you ever had something like that happen to y'all? I don't know. We'll end by saying this, that ultimately one thing I learned about that whole experience and just this whole topic in general is that you cannot pocket watch somebody else. Like, you can't tell somebody how much to give and vice versa. Like, they shouldn't be able to tell you how much to give either. And so that's the cheerful receiver part as well.